and welcome to Beyond the Barracks, the podcast where service ends but the story begins. And Sip's story is never ending. We've got him back for a part 2, which is the first part 2 after he smashed Enduro 3 last week. How are you feeling?
Raise survived. Yeah, I feel okay.
Yeah, you had us worried because we hadn't heard from you, and we were like, it's either going really, really good or not. But we assumed it was going really, really good.
Were you watching the storm coming in?
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, it adds to a bit of motivation, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can call it that. Yeah, motivation.
Right. Yeah, tell us all about it. So you did it in an interesting way, because I know when I've done something similar where I had sleep, I was just on my own. I walked a bit first, and then but you started with probably the bit that worried me the most.
Yeah,
when I was doing it.
It worries everyone the most, I think.
Was kayaking.
I say worries everyone the most. No one's ever done this before, so
yeah. But I mean, the leg, that part that you did, because you had 3 of them together, your kayaking was probably the most worrisome of all of the parts, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you're doing it on your own. So basically, we wanted to get there on. Well, we got there on the Friday, but we wanted to get there at lunchtime just so we could do a recce in the van and get Jeff and Helly used to driving the van. They've both driven the van anyway. But the road, you know what the roads are like there. They're mental. They're really tight and they're windy, and the trucks, which we'll talk about later, drive down there like insanely fast. So we wanted to just drive from Fort William to Inverness just to look at the checkpoints. That was all, nothing to do with me, just so the guys would be happy, because it's great doing a paper recce and going, okay, that's somewhere viable to stop. But then the reality is it's a 50-metre drop from that car park to Loch Ness. So, but we couldn't do it in the end because we got detoured off the 82 and went a mental route. It took us like 9 hours to get there. And Jeff was the same, and Jeff didn't get there till 6. So we literally, Helly was amazing. She booked us into this hotel so we could get like a decent, because I was like, oh, we'll just all sleep in the van. Idiot. So,
yeah, that's a good start to it.
I know. So we're all so we're in this hotel and we had a meal in there, nice meal. We had the map out. I've got both. So this is their map. Look at their map, all marked up for him. Jeff was like, "You're a knob." And it gets better because when you open it, I've drawn loads of like daft images all the way through it. So as they were reading it, they'd be like, "Oh my god, he's such a tit!" With like Viking ships sinking and yeah. I'm not
attacking you and stuff.
Yeah, Nessie had a feature. Let me just quickly see. I know it's not. I know we're already going off on a tangent.
Yeah, it's fine.
Look, Nessie.
Yeah, she's got to make an appearance.
And the Titanic sinking at the top. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, so we did a map recce. They had a look at the workings of the van and stuff like that, and got our heads down. And then we got up at 4:30. Even that was a nightmare because some guy had parked in front of the van, and Helly had come down and seen it and gone to reception and said, "Look, we're leaving it really early. Please, can you ensure that vehicle's not there?" So they did something, and the vehicle moved. And then I went down to get something, and there's another, and I'm like, so I went to reception and went, "Hiya." Said, "Just so you're aware, we're leaving at 4:30 in the morning. That vehicle can't be parked there." And it started getting a bit awkward, and I said, "Look," I said, "worst case scenario, if I can't move the vehicle, I'm just going to put the windscreen in, take the handbrake off, and I'll just roll it back." And then some guy came, like the night warden came, and went, "Oh, it's my car." I went, "Oh, okay." I said, "So are you going to be here in the morning?" He went, "Yeah." I said, "You'll be able to move it?" He went, "Yeah." I went, "Okay, I'll see you at 4:30. So instantly, Sippy getting stabby didn't happen, which is great.
Yeah, that's a good start.
And yeah, so we got up at 4:30. Drove to Neptune's staircase, got all the kit off, got into rig, had a bit more scran, got and I wanted to have the first paddle blade at 6, but it happened at 7. There was just more admin that we needed to do, so that everyone. And what was amazing as well was Jeff and Helly organised, because we've all got Garmin stuff, so we linked into Garmin and Strava, so it would drop a breadcrumb, so they could see live tracking. And if we hadn't have done that, we'd have been in a world of pain. So
Garmin is awesome. That's what I always use. It. Brilliant bit of kit.
Tactic 7,
Yeah.
Ali. From Les as well. Thank you, Les. This is amazing.
Same, isn't it? Same. I've just got a picture of a dog on mine.
Okay.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Good company.
So,
anyway.
So yeah, and then that was it. And I was really nervous. And they knew it as well. Yeah, and that was it, and set off. But what was bizarre? Oh, Ruby's coming. Can I get that? Is this going to be mental?
Yeah.
It's my next door neighbour, bless her. She's amazing. She's like, I do daft stuff all the time, and she's constantly like coming in, looking after Ruby. They're such nice people. They've just come back from Norway, so they're like excited. Like, tell us all about it. I'm like, I'm not alive. I can't now. Anyway, yeah. So I started paddling, just getting into a rhythm. And I was listening. I've got like a what did they call them? Soundtrack, not soundtrack.
Playlist.
Yeah, sorry. I've got a playlist of about 700 songs, and it's all from the 10 years I spent with Battleback working with the lads. Because when you're taking, and we'd work in Spain and Bavaria and all over the place, and sometimes it would be a long journey, in a minibus to get to a crag or get to a Via Ferrata, start a Klettersteig or a lake or something like that. So at night time, we'd all sit together, and the lads would be having a beer and stuff like that, and just chilling. And we'd sit together and I go, right, what's your favourite song? And then they'd say their favourite song. The rule was, if anyone in the group, there'd always be 10 students, if anyone in the group said no, it didn't go on the playlist. So my playlist has been built up of 10 years, and there's over 700 songs. And pretty much most of the songs I hear reminds me of that person. I'm shit with names, but I can remember faces, which sometimes can be problematic. But yeah, that's another story. Anyway, I'm paddling, and you're aware that we buried Mum on the 24th, and the family wanted Robbie Williams, Angels. Why wouldn't you? Everyone loves Robbie. As the final song, which was beautiful. And I'm paddling. Robbie Williams, Angels comes on, and I'm like, oh my god! And I didn't want to stop, turn it, fast forward it, or anything like that. I'm just like, oh my god! And literally, as it came on, a heron flew out of the bushes from the left, like swept over the front of my boat and shot off down the river, and I just burst into, because one of Emma's beliefs was like herons carry the soul of the lost, and it's something I thought was really nice, and I've kind of always carried that on now, and every time I see a heron, it's quite special. It's really special to me. And I burst into tears, and I was crying for the whole track, however long Robbie plays for. But I'm paddling, there's people walking the dogs and riding down the towpath, looking at me in horror, and I'm like trying to paddle, going, "Oh, it's okay," They must be going, "Oh, mate, he's about to do the Great Glen, and look, he's on the canal. Don't do it, mate." They just didn't understand. So, but I just thought, do you know what? I'm going to be all right because Mum's with me.
What a start!
Yeah, and I thought, oh my god, what was the chance of that ever happening? It's over 700.
Herons just don't do that, do they? They normally fly off before you get anywhere near them.
Yeah, or sit. Sit there and like watch it. It was insane. Yeah. So, and I told the guy, as soon as I got to the first checkpoint, I told the guys, because they all know they're here all the time at the house. They know the wall that I built in the back garden is called the Heron Wall. There's little herons things in the bush. They know. So I think it was good for them as well. Give them a bit of assurance, because they were shitting themselves for. They were shitting themselves for the entire journey, going, "Oh my god, is he going to arrive?"
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was. Go on.
The great. How long did it take you to do the Glen? Because it's
How long did it take you to
incredibly
do it?
day.
How long did it
Well,
take you?
well, with sleeping, I didn't time it as in hours wise, but I did 2.5 days. But I was like, messing around and having a sleep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, the standard, I think people went, because I've done the Exped quite a few times
Mm,
in open boats as well, and I've actually done it with Jeff that was within the team. And we took 3.5 days in open boats, but we sailed most of Loch Ness because it was
yeah,
amazing. So we weren't paddling at all for 36 k's.
yeah, it's awesome together.
Yeah, so the norm for people is between 3 to 5 days, isn't it? If you're doing it sub 3, that's classed as quite fast. Yeah. So
That'll
so
be my GB training. That,
so I did it. I did it in 16 hours.
yeah. So that's like two days if you were splitting it into, you know, days and having a sleep. So that's pretty incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it was mental. And Loch Ness was, as it always is, unpredictable.
Yeah,
There were kind of one meter to 1.5 meter rollers right at
yeah.
the start. In the end, I couldn't sail because it was unsafe.
Mm,
But initially, the rollers were behind me, so it was great, and
yeah,
obviously the wind behind me. And then as you start to advance, the rollers started raising to about 2 meters, and then the rogue rollers, the rogue waves came in and were breaking. But the hardest bit was when you get to the castle, the ruined castle. I think it's about two
yeah,
thirds of the way down, and the
yeah.
wall
And then the wind, it's quite a big wind tunnel, isn't it, coming from Inverness then, realistically?
no, well, no, it's coming from behind me. It's coming from Fort William.
Oh,
The
it's
wind was
coming from
behind me.
behind you, does it?
Yeah, oh
Yeah.
God, if it had been coming, if it
I
had
know
been
you
coming
were.
head on, I'd have been like, we're not doing it. We're going to go from
Yeah.
Inverness. Yeah, because you just wouldn't have been able to
I
paddle.
think when I got when I did that section, it was coming the other way, so the waves were coming at me. But I obviously been sleeping,
The,
cheating,
the
and
rolls, the waves for me at that stage were hitting me at 45-degree angle from behind.
yeah. Oh no,
So
yeah,
it was trying to push me into the shore. So I was basically
yeah,
fighting not to get put onto the shore side where there were 2 meter breakers.
no,
And,
yeah,
and if you get caught in a breaker, you're not escaping it.
no,
I've got I've got a Seabird fiberglass and Kevlar boat, and it would have smashed it to pieces.
yeah,
So so it was getting pretty hard, and my eyes were like on stalks. But when I got there, one of the ferry catamarans was coming straight at me at speed with
oh no,
huge wake behind it, and I was like, shit. And I was waving. I'm like, mate, he's not going to see you, like a little dot. And I was like, oh shit. So I turned my boat and faced into where his wake would hit me, and I was just holding water, waiting and riding 2 meter rollers constantly, like, and then they hit, and I was like,
oh,
yeah. I
yeah,
was riding the waves, like, oh my god, oh my god, and then eventually it washed over me. I turned around and got to
yeah,
the checkpoint, and the guys in the checkpoint had been like, kind of seeing what was going on, going, what's he doing?
yeah.
Yeah,
Just trying to brace yourself, aren't you, for like the impact. I always remember because when I did DW, and when you get past the tidal and go into tidal Thames, that was horrendous with the ships and the wakes and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And we were in a K2 fiberglass, and it's just like sit up and hope you get through it, and it's yeah, and
They're a
then
bit more tippy. K2s are a bit more tippy than a sea kayak as well.
yeah, yeah. But like Loch Ness, people who don't know it, the body of water is immense, and I think it was you that actually started making me appreciate it a bit more because I'm like, yeah, I'm a kayaker, I've done all this, and you were like, mate, you're on your own. Put like a swim line on, and I was like, you're right. Why haven't I even contemplated that? And people just underestimate it, don't they? And it's such a huge body of water.
Yeah, I mean, I've been, you know, I'm a top level kayaker. You know, I've got a confident role, and I've done deep water rescue training. I did it, you know, quite a few times, but it's all right doing that in a placid lake, which is where we all do our training.
Yeah.
It's different when you've got 2 meter rollers and you go over, and hopefully you do roll, you know, you stay calm, roll back up, but then straight away, you know, you're getting hit by these side waves every 10 seconds. It's a whole different world. And I was just like, I do not want to swim because then I'm going to start going down with cold water immersion shock as well. And I was just like, but anyway, I didn't. I got to the end. I got to the end of the nest. The last bit was to get across to the canal. And I had to make a beeline. And if I hadn't, I'd have got washed up on the shore. And there was like, by that stage, it was like 2.5 meter breakers. You could see it, you could hear them smashing on the shore. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I managed to make a beeline, but the waves now that they were like 2 meter plus waves constant were hitting the side of my boat. And every stroke was like a support stroke. And I was just trying to get there.
Yeah.
And then I got into the canal and I was like, I've made it. I've made it. And but I had to finish. I had to do the last 4Ks under a head torch. So I was paddling the last 4Ks down, thankfully down the canal in head torch, which was quite eerie. And then it was literally get to the end. No time to celebrate.
No.
Just get to the end, kit off, boat packed away, mountain bike kit back on. Helly's like doing me loads of scrum. I'm trying to eat and drink. I had a mammoth, you know, running vest, which because of the I wore an Olympic combo top, and the mammoth running vest fitted over it. It was insane. So it was so clever. And then so I just got changed. They refilled my camel pack, and I was ready to go. And I was like, turn the lights on. The backlight didn't work, and I was like, shit. And Jeff, who's like, you know, proper by the book, he's like, right, sit, we can't go anywhere. I'm like, fuck that, we're going. That was it. I was gone. But the first section was through the Great Glen Way. It was the, you know, the uphill ascent into the mountains.
Yeah. So you did you didn't do the road route. You did the same kind of route I did after I did it, and went up MBT route. MBT route.
The Great Glen Way.
Yeah, yeah. Because there's two. You can either do the hard way, which is probably the one you did, or you can do road, can't you? The road section.
No, I did it up in the mountains. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I went up on.
There was a couple of sections where you are on the road. Yeah, it's insane. It's like 12Ks like that.
You're like, oh, it's nice and easy, flat, the first bit, and then it goes.
Gina,
whoa.
Don't forget, I'm doing this with a head torch. I'm doing it in the
that's insane.
Yeah. And there's a new estate being built, which we knew about because I had a Harvey's map, and the team had a Harvey's map, but mine was slightly older, so it didn't show the new estate, which theirs did not. And there's no markings in that estate. It's shit. I've got to be honest. If anyone from the Great Glen Way is listening, you need to sort out your signs because they're wank.
Yeah.
Basically.
I know exactly where you mean, because I was like, what? Where's this come from? Yeah, no, I mean, I was taking it easy. I think I did that section in quite fast. I thought it was fast I thought it was going to take longer. It took me 2 days, really. But yeah,
I did
how many hours did you do it in?
14 hours.
Yeah. And what
in the
point?
Dark.
So you switched your muscles as well. Anyone who mountain bikes knows you use your upper body, but people just think it's your lower, but you're not, because you're going up the mountains and you're pushing and pulling, aren't you? So did you? Because this is when it's going to start hurting of a night, and you're going to start getting natural body wanting to shut down and sleep. So at what point was the worst point? Is what I'm trying to ask. What was the hardest bit that you had to go? Come on,
Of
to?
the entire.
Yeah, was it not when you hit the bike or?
No, I was all right. Honestly, Jeff and Helly were like, "What is going on? Why is he not tired?" Or, I'd come in and I'd come in sometimes at the checkpoint on the mountain bikes, stressed out, not stressed out, pissed off, just because I wanted to get on. Like, there was a section I've biked 5Ks down this single track in headlight, can't see anything, fast, moving, so close. You've got no peripheral vision either. You've got no depth perception as well. So you'd like suddenly dropping into stuff. And you're like, whoa! And the chance of me smacking into a tree and things like it was like off the scale. But anyway, I biked down this trail. I've been going for about 5Ks. Came to the gate, and the gate was locked with a padlock. And I'm like, what?
What?
And it had a sign on there. The farmer had basically written a sign saying, "I have locked this gate because I am sick and tired of trail people dropping their litter that's affecting my livestock. If you've got a problem, take it up with the Scottish Council." I was like, and there was a deer fence, like an 8-foot deer fence. And I was like, what do I do? Do I turn back 5Ks to the next gate and try and find another route? Or do I climb? And so I was like, I climbed the deer fence with my bike, hooking the handlebar into and then climb up, hook my, just like, I don't want to be doing this at 2:00 in the morning. So I got over it, found another route, and I didn't see any deers. I'm sure it's a conspiracy. I'm sure all of those fences are keeping the wild haggis that are running around. That's what I believe. Anyway, so yeah, it was just a nightmare. Just loads of crazy stuff like that. That you can plan and plan, but no plan survives first contact. You just don't expect stuff like that. And what the problem was is the guys are in the van, watching the live track, and they're watching it to go like in circles and stuff, and they're both going, "Oh my god, he's going to be pissed off when he gets here."
Yeah. Or when you stop to climb over the fence, they're like, "Oh no, something happened," because you do, don't you? Like,
they don't know. They just
not moving.
Yeah,
because he fell off.
I know.
mean, we'll go back to Garmin. Garmin's pretty good if you do take a massive fall. It'll text.
Yeah, I had that. I did have that set. So
yeah. So 16 hours, 14 hours. So you're just breaking into day 2 when you're finishing the bike.
Yeah, so I got in, handed the again same drills, just get to Fort William, back to Neptune's, de-rig, running kit on, scran, fluids, let's go. No time for anything, no time to go, "Oh, it's amazing, well done, you've just," I did go, "Oh, we're 2/3 of the way through, just get the run done now." And to be honest, the run was what I was scared about. The kayak, I was nervous about the run because I was like, is my body going to hold up? Because now I've not slept at all, and I've been going pretty hard for a long time. But then I just started the run, got into it, and I was just like, get into a steady state pace, 8 to 10 Ks an hour, because you can do it. Just because when I did the Enduro 7, however long ago that was, 4 years ago, but that was around Dishworth Airfield, and I had a team. The boys were with me, and they were all running legs with me. You're dropping off, then a new guy would come on. And I did 3.5 marathons then, so I knew I had it in me. But this is, and we're constantly tracking the storm. We know the storm's coming now, and we're like, shit.
And it's 85 miles, is it? The Great Glen Way back?
Yeah. So I'm just looking at my stats.
Yeah. Why? So why did you leave the hardest bit to the last? Why didn't you go, let's go run, kayak, bike? Was it just trying to stick to triathlon style?
Yeah, because I'm a Iron Man.
I thought it might have been.
Yeah, it was just in my head. It was the natural thing to do. And also there's a lot of things that could have gone wrong on the mountain bike that would have then, affected because if I'd have ran it and then bike last, which you think, oh, actually, that's probably it's not the easier option, because I'd have been so tired by then. Any mistake on the mountain bike would have been catastrophic, because it would have been at speed. At least if I'm running and if I fall asleep, which I did a few times, I had a few moments where I was like, oh, I'm not going to do as much damage to myself. I might face plant, but
fall into the loch.
Again, this transitioned into darkness. I was running for most of it, the latter part, in the pitch black down, and we were tracking the storm, and we all got together and we said, look, I'm a professional mountaineer, as you know, and I would not take any clients up into the mountains on an amber weather warning. You just wouldn't do it. So why would I put me and the team, because the team would have to track up there as well in the van. And so I said, look, what we'll do is we'll change and I'll run down the 82 and I'll go direct. And Jeff was like, mate, it's such a dangerous road. And I went, I know, but we're going to be running it in like the depths of night. There'll be hardly any traffic. It'll be fine. I'll be fine. And he was like, okay. Because he didn't want me up in the mountains. Neither did Helly. And I didn't want to be. Because when I was biking, as it got lighter, I could see there was tree falls everywhere and dead trees everywhere. And I was like, oh my God, if I'm up there and it's blowing 80-mile-an-hour winds, it's going to be shredding these trees. And I've got a risk of tree debris, coming onto me as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, we made that decision. We went down the 82. Everything was fine. The guys, and I was worried about the guys because they were getting so tired. And so what I was doing, I said, right, let's miss this CP and go to the next one. We'll put enough food and fluids on me so I can look after myself for like 13, 14 Ks. And then they could drive ahead, park, get their heads down, and I would knock on the drill was knock on the cab, not on the side, because the person in the side would definitely be trying to get their head down. And that's what we did, and it was a good routine. And we started doing that, and I was motoring. They were like, "Oh my God, slow down! We can't get our heads down." I couldn't believe it. And I did my first marathon, and it wasn't a race. It was get to the end. I did the first marathon in 5 hours 20 or something like that. And this is not. I no disrespect to any marathon runner that does stuff for charity, because they're doing amazing things, but this is not run round with marshals guiding you and people cheering and and you getting feed station. That's not that. This is in the pitch black, cross country, trying to nav with the wind starting to pick up, and shit's happening, and it's just like, and so it was off the scale. But we started to run. It was fine, cracking on, and then we got to about 3:00, and the vehicle that I was always worried about, because you get the loggy trucks there, and they know those roads because they're running it constantly all day. They know every bend and they smash it. And I was like, oh my God! And when you've got a cab, you can visualize a vehicle has to go between the lines on the 82, and it's not the widest road. The cab fits, and obviously the wheels do. But on these trucky things, they've got all of the logs stacked, and they've got offcuts of log that stick out, so they're like beyond.
Yeah.
Anyway, a few came past, and the way I'd run it was I'd shine my head torch into the cab, not into the face, so they knew I was there. I'd already stepped off the road, and I'd just wait for them to pass. And most of them were brilliant. They'd indicate, they'd pull over if it was safe to do so, and so I wouldn't get the draft. Anyway, there was a straight road with a slight bend in it going off to the right, and the whole place lit up. So I knew it was going to be a truck, because how some of the truckies have got lights on the front and everywhere. Yeah. It was like lit up on full beam, so I was like blinding. I was like, shit, and I was trying to shine my head torch at him, and he wasn't slowing down. And I looked around, and there was nothing coming. I was like, guy's not slowing down. And to my right, there was a metal girder, because it was like a drop into the Loch Ness. So they put the metal safety girders in case a car piled in, it would bounce off it. So I grabbed it instinctively. I grabbed it with my right hand, and I was pulling myself in, and he didn't slow down, and the cab like came past me, and I felt the suction, and I just quickly grabbed my left hand and was sucked into the truck. I was like, fucking hell. And he went past, and I was like, you fucking. And I just was like, oh my God, had that bar not been there, I'd have been sucked into its back wheels, without a doubt.
And they've recently done loads of that, haven't they? Last year when I was there, they've recently was putting all those crash barriers in. So
it was insane.
Which is not what they're for.
Well, I know, but what I didn't realise was the guys were in a lay-by, getting their heads down, or trying to. And the lay-by it wasn't a big one, so they were in safe, you know. But they said they were both lying in the truck, and they were hearing these trucks come past, and the whole van was doing this, and they were both in there going, "Fuck! If that's doing this to the van, what's it doing to Sid?"
Yeah.
And anyway, I got to the checkpoint. I went, "Fuck this!" I said, "I was that close." Oh, and something else that happened before I got to checkpoint. There was a bit of a blind bend, and there was a 20-meter wall that was like up to chest height, right against the road. And I was looking and going, "Shit, where do I? If something comes around this corner, where do I go? Do I go over to the left-hand side?" But then there was cars screaming down the left-hand side, and I had like a little red. Luckily, Jeff had like stripped a head torch and clipped it to the back, and it was just a red light. But I was like, that's even more dangerous. And so I was looking at this 20-meter stretch and going, I'm just gonna have to run it, because if I get halfway, 20 meters is a long way. Especially when your legs. I'll talk to you about my legs in a minute. And I was like, do I go? And I stopped. I had no music playing. I was listening. I was watching the lights. You know, if there's any light, nothing's. I'm like, mate, just go for it. And I ran it. Got the other side. And I was like, and then I got to the CP and went, right, we're not doing this anymore. We need to change the plan. So we looked at the map and we worked it all out. There was loads of ideas. We drove up and back into the mountain, because there was a sea road that ran all the way off the mountain for 12 Ks into Inverness.
Yeah. On the left-hand side or the right-hand side of the glen as you go into?
Yeah, on the left-hand side, because the right-hand side obviously is a lot you can't get across.
Yeah, I thought that, because you'd have to drive all the way around. Because
well, this is a problem, Gina. They had to put me in the vehicle to get me there, right? And it was about a 30-minute drive. I couldn't sit down, so I was laying on the back with my feet braced against the headboard, because Jeff was like worried if they had an RTA, you know. I said, look, I'll be fine, mate. You guys are doing so well driving. You're fine. It's not, you know. So I braced my feet up there, and I was just lying there trying to move my legs so they didn't stiffen up.
Yeah.
And we got up into the mountains, and by now it was daylight. It was about half 4, half 5 or something. Can't remember, but it was light. And they dropped me off, and they said, right, we're going to go 12 Ks down here. We're going to find the Inverness sign and everything, and then we'll come back up. And I was like, okay. So I had all my kit. Luckily, I changed my jacket. I had my Nordvan jacket, which is bomb-proof, and I was wearing it. So I started running, but I'm getting a bit boiling the bag. So I took my thing off, took my jacket off, tried to stuff it in because it's thick. Stuffed it into the back, managed to get it in the back because luckily the thing's stretchy, and carried on running. And then suddenly the rain started coming in. It'll be fine with light drizzle. And then it started coming in, and then the wind's coming in. And I was like, shit, the storm's hit early. And so I took my kit off, jacket back on, zipped it up, and carried on running. I pulled my hood round, and I was watching the trees doing this as I was running. I was like, can't get, and my right. So, and I'd already said to him, look, the problem I'm going to probably have, because I had it when I did the Battle Back 1000, which was the 8 Ironmans back to back. On the run, my T-bands were just on fire, and they were when I did the 3.5 marathons on the Enduro 7, they were, and even when I did the Wainwrights, the 214, I remember coming off Cat Bells, the last summit, and my T-bands were like, every step was like, I was like, oh, I'm feeling it now. Well, yeah, I've done 700 bloody Ks and 43,000, Everest, God knows how many times, but
yeah, something's got to give.
Yeah, but luckily the wind dropped and the rain stopped. I kept my jacket on because I was like, I can't be asked to keep. So I literally just, sorry about this. So I just opened everything up, so I was like vented and just carried on running. And then there was a section that was like unbelievably steep, and I was like, oh my God, and I couldn't run down it. I walked down it like John, like I'd shit my pants. But obviously I can't because I haven't got a bum because I've got stoma.
Is that how it when it's dropping down to the start of Inverness? Is that
Yeah,
part of the
yeah.
road?
It was probably still about. It was still probably about 5 k's in. It was just a massive steep section for about 800 meters, and I got off it. I was cursing Jeff and Ellie. And okay, so because I know your listeners will. So to visualize for your listeners, so basically, imagine Beelzebub, the devil, is sitting in his throne in the pits of hell, and he's bored, and he's like, right, do you know what? I'm just gonna stick my steel toe cap boots in the fires of hell, and until they glow white hot, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kick Sip in his T-band every step, and that is the pain, like insane.
Yeah.
And my brain is going, Sip, just keep running, don't stop, just keep running. And I kept at like 8 to 10k pace. They were all like, how is he doing this? He's not slept for like 2 days. What is going on? And I got to the road, and then there was a path that led, and I said to Jeff, how far is it? And he went 500 meters, and he got in the vehicle and drove off. I know what 500 meters feels like. Never mind about looks like. I know what it feels like. I've now been running for like 80 odd k's constant, and 500 meters came, and I was like, and it was a bend, and then I was like, please, and then the band. I saw the band at the side, and I burst into tears. I was like, just like, oh my God, crying my eyes out, running. And then I was like, Sip, sort yourself out. And I wiped all the tears off. And I got in, and the guys were like, hey. We took some photos, had the flag out. And they were both like, why is he not crying? And they didn't realise. I told them later. I told them a couple of days later. And
I
got that out of my system, yeah. And then we had the photos, and we're all looking at each other going, hey, we were planning to be finishing Wednesday. It's Monday morning. But we missed the storm, and then as we drove, because we drove back from Inverness to Fort William, because that's where Jeff's car was as well. As we were driving, the storm hit.
Yeah, horrendous.
The van, every vehicle was doing this. We were watching trees breaking and landing in the road, and all these puddles gathering with the rain. It was, and I was. Literally, I missed it by, well, however long it takes to drive from Inverness to Fort William. Probably, a couple of hours down those roads?
Yeah, a couple of hours, isn't it? 2-3 hours.
I literally missed it by an hour. Lucky bastard.
Yeah.
That would have ended it. I don't know if I'd have, well, I would have done. I'd just fucking crawled. But
No. Yeah, someone was looking after you there. Probably that heron still.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't think of that. Yeah, I do. I honestly believe that. Yeah. And we got back to the hotel. Got booked a meal. I was struggling to like walk up the stairs a little bit.
Only that, yeah.
It was. So we haven't really talked about my stoma. So I was having a problem with it. It was in pain, and I changed my stoma at the end of every leg just to get a fresh. And we'd noticed like a hernia, and I was like, shit.
Oh no.
I tried to push it back in. That didn't work.
No.
So I was in pain. I was in quite a lot of pain, and I was in the hotel, and I said to the guy, I said, look, I just need to get a wash. I want to just change my stoma, check it. and then I'll feel a bit better. And so I went to go and get Adobe, and Helly went, oh, because there was a men's thing, and it was massive, but I'd be completely bollocky, which I don't mind. But then, changing a stoma, it's not very good for public to see that. And she went, there's a disabled one, just go in there. And I went, yeah, okay. So I went in there, and as I was going in there, one of the guys, there was one of the staff went, oh, can I help you? And I went, yeah, I'm just going to use your toilet, mate, to. He went, oh, yeah, it's disabled. I went, yeah, I can read, mate. And he said, yeah, but you're not disabled. And I looked at him.
Oh.
Yeah, got very stabby very quickly, and he realised, and he was like, ooh, okay, I'm sorry. I went, yeah, okay. So I sorted myself out. We had some scran. Jeff was going to drive back up to Scotland. I'm like, mate, you can't drive. You just can't. And the weather was, the storm was still hitting.
Yeah.
So
storm
Jeff,
and sleep.
Yeah, we got a room. Jeff didn't want to book a room because he had to get off, and he knew if he'd booked a room, he'd be trapped. And he had a routine of stuff because he was coming back from Scotland, then going to see his parents, and flying out to Norway. Same. And he basically stayed in the van for about 5 hours, got his head down in the van. We went into the room, and we stayed there. Got up in the morning. We left at about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. Went back, walked up Neptune, took some photos, sent it to Jeff, and then drove back. And as we were driving back, we were both knackered, and we pulled into it. Helly was becoming a bit of an expert at spotting decent lay-bys. So we pulled into this lay-by and got our heads down in the van for like 5 hours, and then got home at 2 a.m. And then yesterday was just spent admin, just blitzing the van. Helly was a mate, like blitz the van. Me did about 5 washing, sorting all my kit out, packing, just and some of the kit I'd taken from my mountain rescue Feldberg, so I wanted to make sure batteries were back, and it was because I didn't know there could be a shout and I could be out on the mountain rescue, and I was like, I need to be prepared. And now I'm cutting around today, like nothing's happened. Everyone's like, loads of people are phoning and they're WhatsApping me as well because they want to see my face, see if and they're like, what the fuck? Why
aren't you destroyed?
So tomorrow we're going to a spa tomorrow.
Yeah, I think
we're
you
going
need
to get a deep muscle massage for half an hour, and then we're in a spa for about an hour and a half, and then they've got these health breakfasts, so we're going to have a health breakfast.
How's the ITB?
The what, sorry?
How's your ITB going? The band, is it?
Right, sorry, let me just get that, it's Ruby. Oh, mate. So much.
Oh, you are moving okay, so yeah, so your ITB's not giving you any jip?
Oh, you mean my stoma?
Yeah, and your ITB, you said your legs were killing you, is that all
no,
gone?
Yeah, no, nothing.
Yeah. Your stoma's all
right?
I've
got a little blister on both my toes because I wore some trainers and they just weren't right, so I quickly put.
Yeah.
I had the Sportiva Raptor, not Raptors. Can't remember. Anyway, yeah, I use them for the 214, and I just put them on the light slippers, and I use them. So no, I'm fine. My stoma's much better.
Yeah.
My blood sugars. I wrote to Diabetes UK and I said, do you want to use me as a case study? Because I didn't really have a hypo. It's like I got low a few times, but hey, mate.
Yeah, because I was going to say, Ruby.
Oh, Ruby. Oh.
Hiya. We love a good Ruby here. It's Ruby, isn't it?
It is Ruby, yeah.
Yeah. So because I was going to say, your diabetes. Were you eating like every 45 minutes or?
I was grazing. I know with Sippy Trail Mix, Haribo's.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to use that next time.
Yeah, and high five in my camel pack. So I was just supping constantly, so I was hydrating, and also it helps with my carbs because it's got obviously a bit of carb and isotonics in there. Yeah? So so it was insane. Yeah, my blood sugars were really cool.
No, it absolutely well, incredible, because for you to have, well, it's like, where'd you start? For you to have done all that anyway, some people will just only do one of them and they won't be walking for a week, or they'll be, bubbling in a spa for a week. And to say that you've only got a couple of blisters and stuff just shows how immense your training regime has been, to to get you through it. I mean, blisters and stuff you can work on because you're training and stuff. So potentially, we should survive them. But you're going to have rubs and the rain and all that sort of stuff. So it's just, anyone listening is going to be like, "What the?"
I know it is. To be honest, Helly's here now, and we still talk about stuff, and we're buzzing. Remember this, remember that, and you're like, oh yeah. That's
Amazing.
why I've sent you that like a draft report sort of thing, because I just thought it'd be helpful for you if you wanted to, after this, if you wanted to put the link on and stuff like that.
Yeah,
At least
definitely.
you've got a little bit of information, and there's some stats on there as well.
Yeah. So
And
obviously,
if anybody wants to do this,
yeah.
I've got all the planning. They can crack on, and they can be the second person ever to have done it. I'm more than happy. I would help them.
Yeah, I know you would. I know you would. You were so supportive when I was doing Scotland 300. Oh. So you obviously do this all for many reasons. So we need to talk about briefly combat stress and the other one you do it for that eludes me.
So I'm part of the Bowland
That's it.
Pennine mountain training team. I'm a trainee. I've got a bit of a chesty cough. Hopefully I'll pass out. I'll get badged in January. So this is the first time I split the money. Normally it's all for combat stress, and the other half is for combat stress, who I've always supported. And combat stress, it was a bit funny because I'm currently going through therapy with combat stress. They didn't really want to champion the event because they were worried if something happened to me. And I can understand their reasoning behind it, but I'm hoping now I've done it and I'm safe, combat stress are going to get behind it and they're going to push it as well.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
And the two amazing charities, because obviously I'm fully aware of combat stress and the amazing things they've done and the lives they've saved, and then also because I'm similar to you, but not as qualified as you by far. I'm on my journey from mountain leader and a paddle sport instructor and all that sort of stuff. So the work that these rescue teams do is incredible, and without them, there'd be so many lives lost up in the mountains.
I'm really lucky because I've got because of being a professional mountaineer and having my own business, and it's what I do. I've got all the up-to-date first aid quals and swiftwater rescue and all that sort of stuff. So I was able to become part of the SAR team at the earliest opportunity, search and rescue. So you can't do technical stuff because you're not trained, but you can do the search, the SAR. And I've already done two live SARs, and one we did. It was like the longest walk off I think the team's had, or certainly for a long time. And there was helis coming in. It was insane, and we literally saved two people's lives on the top of Parlick. They were in shorts and a t-shirt. I think one of them was up there for his own therapy because I think he'd had some substance misuse problems in the past, and this was his way of dealing with it, which is amazing. But shit kit, and they basically piled. There were we managed to walk his female partner off, but she was in shit state. The other guy we bell stretchered off for like 3Ks. I never got off the stretcher one. I went, I'm earning my stripes. I loved it. It was amazing. The team were amazing, and we got him off, got him into an ambulance, and saved the guy's life. And I'm like, this is why we do it.
Yeah.
But those boys in the team were working hard to save him. The medical experience that the guys have got is insane.
Yeah.
and to get him backed up and
For you to, with all your experience and all your quals, to still, be in that trainee phase, just shows how incredibly experienced they are. And I've always been totally in awe at the rescue people on the mountains, because they're nails, and they know those mountains like the back of the hand. Some of the old boys.
oh,
Um,
yeah, I mean, there's
so
guys that have been in the team for 40 years that have got MBEs and they
yeah,
absolutely know the area like the back of the hand. It's just good.
mm,
It feels. Do you know what, Gina? It feels like I'm back in a little small team again. Because you're putting your kit on,
yeah,
everyone's checking each other, looking out for each other. There's the dark. I was on the front right of the stretcher. I never came off for the whole trip. And there were guys saying, "Come on, Sip, you've been on there a long time." And I'm like, I want to earn my tapes, and they're like, okay. And then there were other people that were knackered going, "Mate, just let him stay on because we're
yeah.
not carrying it." And
Let
the
him crack on.
guy in front of me, Nick, is ex-Royal Air Force, is a brilliant bloke, and he's now doing he's part of the committee. He does all of the fundraising as well. He's an amazing lad. And the heli came in, hovered for a bit, and then turned around pissed off. And it came through the comms that he couldn't land because of the weather. And I was like, "Fucking RAF pilots!" And he was like, pissed off. I said, if it had been a Navy or Army pilot, he'd have landed. And if the banter was just so good. Yeah,
Yeah, amazing. Well, it's it's been in it every time I chat to you. It's always great, and then to have Ruby come on as well, even better. And just amazing story and amazing adventure. I mean, and I really hope that everyone gets behind and tries to donate whatever they can. And if they can't donate, just sharing your page and your story, because that's
I
what
just
it's
I
about.
just want my. I'm still not sleeping too good. I thought I would be, but I am tired. But my PSD skimming rock will rest when everyone in the UK have heard of combat stress. Everyone's heard of mountain rescue, and those people that go into the mountains are aware of it. But combat stress are the best kept secret, and I just want everyone to be aware of them, so that any veterans that are struggling, that there is somewhere where they can go and they can get help. I am proof of that, because I've worked for them for a long time and done stuff for them, and now I'm one. They're looking after me, literally looking after me. I'm about to start my therapy at the end of this month for however long it's going to take, which I'm not looking forward to, but it
No,
needs to be done.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just so important.
definitely. Such yeah. Well, because we've got friends and everything who've
Yeah,
been affected by it, and so
yeah,
yeah, incredibly important charity, both of them. So I'm honoured to be sharing your story, and yeah, I can't wait for people to be listening to it and getting behind you.
yeah.
So thanks
I'm,
so much.
I've started planning now. We're in planning phase for the Enduro 282 now. 2 years time, all the Munros, one sitting. Let's
Wow.
go. But I will be sleeping on that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I'll come up and join you for a couple, but I'm not going to do the 218. That's for sure.
You'll be fine. I will be shifting. I will be shifting
Yeah, that,
because I've only got 6 weeks to do it. So
yeah. Crikey. Yeah, awesome. I'm out of incredible words to say about what you've just done.
yeah.
So
But it's nice,
thanks
Gina,
for
because you've experienced it. You'll understand how it feels to do something like that.
yeah.
Especially
Well,
especially.
I was there with you. I know the roads and everything, so makes it even better. And I'm up in Scotland at the end of the month, so getting some quality mountain days in. So I'll when I'm feeling like I need to quit, I'll be like, no,
Yeah,
sips.
we've got both our legs, Gina. We're lucky. We're the lucky ones.
Yeah, we are very lucky. Yeah, yeah, we're very lucky. I will love you and leave you, and I'll we'll be in touch offline. And thanks so much for coming on.
Brilliant. Thanks for having me again. It's been amazing.
Yeah,
Thanks.
take care.